Hi everybody, this is Kevin and I'm on a new Zoom chat, and with me you can see a young lady sitting there, and that's Taria Dawson. Hi Taria, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Kev.
Good, good. Now Taria is actually in isolation at the moment, and how many more days have you got to do?
What day is it? What day is it? Sunday.
Sunday,
I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's 4 days left.
another
Yeah.
4 days. Taria's come in from South Africa. Well, no, you come in from South Africa, then you went to Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt officially. Um,
Yeah. And now she's back in the UK, and she's got to isolate, which is fair enough. Now, Taria, you and I first met some years ago because you are a musician of all sorts of things. But let's take Taria right back to the beginning. Where was Taria Dawson born? And tell us a bit about your education, and perhaps a little bit about your parents as well, what they did for a living.
okay. Born in Guildford, so local lass, pretty
Mhm,
much.
mhm.
I've got a twin brother, so I think that was a bit of a shock to the system for mum and dad. Um, just went to the Lippock schools, went to Bohan, went to Alton College, went to Portsmouth Uni, so definitely kept it local. I've got a law and criminology degree that I don't do anything with. And then several years later, I thought it was a good idea to go back and do another postgraduate degree in human resources, which I now also don't use. I did use it a bit though, so at least that one wasn't a complete waste of money.
Yeah.
And parents, yeah, I don't know. Dad's got one of those jobs where, or sorry, he's retired now, but it's like I don't quite know what he did, but no one of those people. Toby's like that. Your viewers might not necessarily know that, but Toby from SEMA, he's like one of those people. I just don't really know what he does.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
explained it to me like 90 times, so I still just don't really understand. But Dad, I don't know. He's like business development. Used to travel all over the country and travel to all over the world, really. Something to do with water, wastewater, water cleaning, that kind of thing. And Mum was always a carer, so just at the old people's homes, like residential homes, and then later down the line worked for a doctor. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
So she understands everything that's been going on in the over the last year, that where everybody's been, trouble with the COVID. But as it's someone that's got the experience of working in care and stuff like that, she fully
Yeah.
understands what they're going through.
Yeah, and especially with she used to work at like Shannon Court, which is up in Hindhead, and she
Mhm.
still has friends that still work there. And I think obviously, that there has been issues with COVID getting into old people's homes, and I think that's one of the things I've found quite upsetting actually. And it's not just in the UK, but across the world really, is like hearing about the stories about COVID getting into nursing homes and stuff. It's just like super sad. But yeah, I think she definitely has empathy for the NHS staff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Which somebody like that is bound to. So you've done all this these wonderful things in education. You've got these degrees and things like that, which you've done nothing with.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've got a lot of student loan to show for it, but not much else.
but so you, as I said just a second ago, you and I met through bands and local clubs. I think it was probably at the Alton Community Centre.
Yeah.
Through my son, because you were
Yeah.
both in different bands. Because
Oh, that's right. Yeah. God.
you were were you with Toby and Tim?
Yeah, Tim and Toby, who I was later in with SEMA. I was in first in a band called Moya with our singer James, and we would have been at the Alton Community Centre, and at the same time then Jim and Ian, later in SEMA, Jim, your son, we're in a different band. Those were good days when we used to play at the Alton Community Centre. It was so much fun.
They were great days, and
loved it.
An oldie like me, got to meet, I think, very interesting people along the way, and you being one of them, and as I say, I'm in my late 60s now, but it's I've got friends.
Don't look a day over 59, Kev.
Thank you. You've really put the icing on the cake now. Thank you very much for that. And anybody watching this will go, "Oh my God, what is she looking at really?" But I made friends with people like yourself and Tim and Toby and
Yeah.
a completely different age group, but it was the love of music was there for everybody, wasn't it? That's what got us all together.
It holds a really super special place in my heart, the Alton Community Centre, and all the work like Catherine did at the lounge bar, putting on all these gigs, and just the it was like our little mini Seattle, like our little kind of world of like musicians and bands, and like everyone hanging out with each other, everyone jamming with different people, making new friends. It was like, I attribute that place and that time to making friendships with like yourself. It was like Jim and all the guys in Suma. I mean, that's how I heard of Moya. That's how I ended up in Moya. I just saw those guys on stage, and I was like, "You don't have a bass player, let me be your bass player." They were like, okay.
So when did you start playing bass guitar? Where did you get your training for or learn for? Did you self-taught?
Yeah, I always played guitar. So I think most bass players will always have this story. Like, I used to play guitar and then someone needed a bass player. So it's like, I'll play bass. It's the same, just 4 strings. It's not. But so I can't even remember. I remember trading a crap electric guitar for a crap bass guitar because someone needed a bass player. And I think I'm, maybe like 18, 19, something like that. And then I eventually joined another local band, Nervous Endings. Do you remember
Oh,
them?
yes. Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
So I played bass for them. And that was really fun because at the time they were playing just like loads of rock and metal covers, and it was just a great laugh. And then I think I was at the community centre with Lee, the drummer from Nervous Endings, and I saw Moya, like Sans, any bass player, and they just blew me away. I just was like, these guys are just amazing. And Lee was like, you should go and talk to them. They don't have a bass player. Like, why don't you join them? And I was like, I am nowhere near good enough musician to join these guys. These are like another level, But anyway, I think I got drunk enough, and then either Lee or Eddie went to speak to them. And they were beautiful enough to be like, oh, sure, like, come to our next band practice and let's have a go. And I was like, ugh. And I just remember just stressing about it for so long. Sweet guys. And, this was a good, however long, good 15 years ago. And, being female and being in that whole world of trying to play in bands and whatnot. And I just remember those guys just gender didn't even register with them. They weren't like, oh, who's this girl? Do you know what I mean? They were like, come to band practice. Let's have a go. Let's see what happens. The rest is history. So I'm always really like thankful that they were those kind of people, because I have also been through experiences where it has been very much like, especially going into music shops, guitar shops, there's nothing more scary as like a 12-year-old girl who desperately wants to play electric guitar going into a guitar shop and just being treated like an idiot. Do you know what I mean? And that definitely happened. So
Yeah. So the music shop you might have gone into was Anderton's in Guildford then? No, it wasn't.
I'm not going to name it, but yeah, it was a local one. But yeah, it's not to do with the shop; it's to do with the staff. So the staff you get you're also feeling very kind of nervous, like in that situation, especially as a young girl. But I think the tides are very much turning now, and being female and playing guitar or being in a rock band or whatever is like, becoming much more common and normal and accepted now. Which wasn't.
So how long was you with Moya then?
I want to say it was like 2 or 3. I think it was like 3 years, something around that. And then I think James left to go traveling, and then I left once that had stopped. I left also. I gave up my job in recruitment or whatever to go and work on a cruise ship as a photographer, because I was like, oh, this would be awesome. I get to like travel around and like, but also earn money at the same time. This is going to be like the best thing ever. Spoiler alert, it was the worst thing I've ever done, like ever, like the worst. So yeah, so then I quit the ship after like 3 months because I was like, I hate this so much. And then came back and then realized that the guys, well, Tim and Toby from Moya plus your son had merged to form a band called Suma. They already had a bass player though, so I was like, oh, that's cool, no worries, you know. And then a couple of weeks later I got a call and they were like, the bass player's gone, you can come and join us now. I was like, oh cool, okay, awesome. And then that was the start of Suma back in 2010, so it was amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The time's gone so fast. But that's
11 years ago. 11 years ago.
Yeah, and you guys, you know, as Suma, you started off, and then Ian joined the band, didn't he? And then you were going up. The levels that you were jumping was incredible with the music, and then I think probably the pinnacle was when you played Bloodstock on the second time.
Yeah, the second time we played Bloodstock was, I forget what year that was. I think it was 2015.
2015, I think. Yeah. 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, I think it was 2016. Anyway, that I think we can all five of us would definitely say that was probably the highlight of our musical career thus far.
Yeah.
Well, definitely for me thus far. But like, you know, they might have some more mileage in them. I doubt it, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, but the last year or just over a year, what's happened in 2020 and 21 is really put a hold on it on anybody in music and the theatre and things like that, which is very sad.
Yeah, it sucks.
But let's look at Taria. Now, I know Taria. She's a very, very talented girl, and I follow you on Instagram with your art. So if you'd like to tell everybody what you do and what your Instagram account is called, and then perhaps people can check you out. Yeah.
Okay. So when I quit the band, I don't know, whenever it was, I think it was 2017, 2018. I left to go and travel as much as possible. My day job is in adventure travel, so I also wanted to travel for myself, and luckily enough my boss agreed I could remote work. So on the sideline I do like travel sketching whilst I travel, so in ink and watercolor. And I started just posting that on Instagram. If anyone wants to check it out, it's at looking out to sea. C is spelled SEE, and then it's got an underscore underneath it, unfortunately, but that's what it is. And yeah, things have kind of I'm actually one of those people who have kind of got a bit of a success story from the pandemic hitting, because I went on some crazy adventures, including going to places like Iran and Ethiopia and Somalia and stuff like that, which is pretty much to do with work with my adventure travel company. But yeah, I like last year collected all of those ink and watercolor illustrations together into a book. It's an ebook, not a physical book, unfortunately. So over the last 3 years of my travels around the world, and I've kind of formed a bit of a company around travel sketching. It's an activity that's much like becoming really popular. It's much more on the up. So now I've got a bit of a business based around it, really. So I've got a website called urbansketchingworld.com, and I've got my own YouTube channel as well, also Urban Sketching World, and things have been going really, really well. So yeah, I just love to travel and sketch in ink and watercolor as much as possible. And I've just actually released an online course that people can purchase, and that teaches my travel sketching method in ink and watercolor as well. So
I have to say, what I've seen that you've posted, Taria, are absolutely lovely.
Oh, thanks, Kev. Thank you.
No, I'm not just saying that because you're there.
I appreciate that.
I think you know me well enough for that. But I do. I think what you do is fantastic. And I think one of the people that will watch this is a chap called Andrew Norris, who is an artist, and he lives in Croatia. So you know, check his YouTube
Nice.
channels out,
Yeah.
because he's very good, and but he's also documenting the life in the village that he lives in Croatia. So he's videoing it and then doing that.
Amazing.
So it's worth checking him out. But I do love the stuff that you do, and it's very good. But I also know that you're also talented at something else, aren't you? That's to do with working with silver.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell everybody how you got into that, and how you were trained and where you were trained.
So the first time I left Sumer, because there was more
That's
than once.
right, yeah.
I don't do anything once, so it was, you know. So the first time I left was to travel to Mexico, and then subsequently like around Central America, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, that kind of stuff. The purpose of that trip was to actually go and learn silversmithing. So I know I wanted to learn a craft. I wanted to learn something. I wanted to do something with my hands. I was kind of over working in an office and sitting in front of a computer all day. At that point in my career, I was a web designer because, you know, why not? But I was sitting in front of a computer with headphones on like 8 hours a day, just not talking to anyone, just doing my work. And I was like, this is no kind of life really. This is not fulfilling for me. So I knew I wanted to learn something. I'd made like loads of lists and I was like trying to figure it out. And then I actually went for a short course in Bracknell, because I was working at Ascot at the time, at I forget what the place is called, but it did like adult kind of community learning type stuff. And they had a silversmithing course there just to make like basic ring and stuff like that. And I just loved it. And I was like, right, I want to travel and also learn this thing. Where can I go? Which country can I go to learn this thing? And my internet searches kind of eventually brought me to Mexico and to a guy called Billy King at Sterling Quest there. And I don't know, his website and his backstory and the price of his teaching just sounded like perfect. However, things didn't really work out that way. And I ended up traveling to Mexico and then moving on to Central America. And I just never really, I think I agreed with Suma that I'd come back after 3 months and do some festivals and whatnot then. So then I never got to do it. But then in 2019, when I was traveling around, I think I was actually in South Africa and something else had fallen through. I forgot what it was. Oh, I think, yeah, I forget. Anyway, I decided actually now was the time to go to Mexico and do this course with Billy. And I wanted like to do it for like 6 months and really go for it, you know. So I ended up traveling to a little town called San Miguel de Allende, which actually is like a UNESCO World Heritage town. It's really beautiful. And yeah, went to learn silversmithing from some crazy expat Canadian dude in his 70s, who's just probably the most insane person I've ever met in my entire life. However, very gifted. And yeah, just every day I'd log in and do my adventure travel company work for the morning, and then in the afternoon I'd go and learn silversmithing from this crazy toothless Canadian dude. So,
and I know you've produced some beautiful pieces of work, and as you know, I've bought one piece for my daughter. Yes, it was. I remember seeing it. It was a stunning piece of work. I know you, because of the way Shelley used it, you've got to do a little repair to it, but
yeah,
it's still a beautiful piece. I showed it to somebody the other day, and they were just gobsmacked with it.
wow.
And it's just a lovely bracelet you made. But I've seen some of the other stuff, of the photographs that you've done, and it's just brilliant what you've done. But you sell your pieces of jewellery as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I sold quite a few pieces straight away. And then because I've been back and forward, like just in different countries, I can't really carry everything around with me. So, well, I say that I've been in South Africa for the last year, but my jewelry's been here in the UK because actually, you know what happened to me after when the COVID situation happened, right? So I don't know. I left the UK just for a 1 week trip.
Right.
With a very small bag and just the necessities for a 1 week trip to South Sudan, again through my adventure travel company, and I never came back. And now that was March 2020, and then now we're talking April 2021. I've just got back a few days ago. So you know, in that interim time, I went like on the 4th of March to South Sudan, and then like, you know, things started to lock down. I couldn't really get back here. So I ended up flying, I think I was in South Sudan with like 3 days to go before they were going to seal the borders for 3 months, and then I got to Ethiopia, and I was like, well, I could try and get back to London, or I could just fly to, my boyfriend lives in Johannesburg, fiance I should say. So I ended up flying to South Africa, and then I just stayed there. For a year. They kept extending my visa. So
I think as you say, you've got Duncan, your fiance, out in South Africa. But was Duncan in the UK? 'Cause I'm sure I met him over here at a couple of the gigs.
Yeah, I think you would have done, because that's how I met him. Is the band that he manages in South Africa, Deity's Muse, got offered a tour in the UK. And they chose our band to support them out of the choices that they got, and we said yes, obviously, and then we ended up just spending a week with those guys touring around the UK. So I think you were at the I don't know which show you were at, maybe one or two of them. Probably no, the Boiler Room in Guildford.
Boiler Room, yeah, definitely, yeah.
So that's so you probably did meet him, yeah.
So from you said the name of the band in South Africa that he manages, Daddy Muse. So was it through them that you were able to go over to South Africa and actually? Well, did you play with Suma in South Africa, or was that the?
No, I'd already left by that point.
Right, okay.
And the boys came over in May 2019.
That's right.
And so I got to watch them backstage playing the gigs, but I wasn't playing the gigs, which was super weird. But
I bet.
And I was a bit like, damn it. but no, it was cool. I was so happy those guys came over to South Africa. And probably, actually, I said earlier that Bloodstock was the highlight of my musical career with Suma, but actually I think if you ask those guys, they might say South Africa, but it might be on the level, because those shows with Ginger were sold out and they were fantastic, absolutely amazing.
I don't know whether any of them were videoed or not. I haven't seen anything. Every time I do a Google search, it just comes out of Bloodstock. But
Duncan might have a little bit of footage. I'll ask him, actually.
Yeah, I know when they first arrived in South Africa, James sent me a WhatsApp video from his bedroom, and he said, I think the comment was something like, "My awful view from my bedroom window," or something, and it was the ocean was literally yards away, and I think, was it Tabletop Mountain or something?
Table Mountain,
just away to the left. I thought, oh well.
Yeah, Duncan, who's my fiance, who organises these shows, which is how Suma came to play, because he just loved Suma so much when he saw them here. He doesn't do anything by halves, so he put all of us up in a 4-star hotel right on the beach, I think it's called Lagoon Beach. He puts all the bands in there, so it was great that, you know, Suma were included in that, and just wake up in the morning, there's Table Mountain right there.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's and I think I'm right in saying it may have even been Duncan, I don't know. They were mentioning bands that were supposed to have been playing, I think, last year, and one of them was, and I can't remember the band's name, was one of James's favourite bands, and they asked if Suba would like to go over and help support them. And James said, "Nah, not really."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're keen to get those. I mean, those guys back out to South Africa if when and if it's safe to do so. But I think they'll hopefully all of them, if they can make it, will be coming out next year for mine and Duncan's wedding. I hope so.
Well, that'd be brilliant, yeah. And actually, you say I should congratulate you on getting engaged to Duncan.
Yeah,
which was last year, was it?
Yeah, so I mean, despite the pandemic, I had personally had an all right 2020 because I started my own business and the love of my life proposed to me. So, can't get better than that, really, can you?
You can't. So I think, Taria, on that note, is a good place to end this Zoom chat. So look, can I thank you very much for spending some time chatting to me tonight, and this will be going out to the world on YouTube. But one thing I would like to ask you, if you would, could you send me some photographs, please, of some of the artwork you do and of your jewellery? And what I'll do is I will put them on the end of this chat. And if you can also send me the details of your Instagram account, and I'll also put all that stuff up there as well for you.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, no, that would be cool.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Taria. Thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate your time.
No, thank you, Kev. It's been awesome to chat to you, and hopefully I'll see you in real life soon.
Oh, I want to. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Okay, Taria. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Kevin. Thanks very much for watching the video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, follow, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that would be great. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Bye.